So this is Louis, and this commentary is going to be a bit more spur of the moment than I probably need to put together a decent commentary. And let's see if we get the 5 takes. This is take 1. Let's see if we get there. But I'm going to try my best to, just get to this first take with any kind of useful commentary. And so I wanted to talk about kind of a complicated matter that really requires delicacy, and that's because the topic itself is so easily misinterpreted as straight up like I'm here to talk shit about Jews and whatnot, but it's just one of those things where I can't help but notice that this is a problem on the right, and that it's really strange, and the more you see of it, the more that it lends credence to conspiracies. Because when all of a sudden you have, like, Jews in politics, Jews in the media, all these different Jews. I'm a right-wing Jew, I'm a left-wing Jew. You know what we're all unified on? This one person is not pro-Israel enough, therefore. It's like, well, aren't you an American? Aren't you all Americans? Well, yeah, we're all Americans, but we're all against this person for not being pro-Israel enough. It's like, well, that's kind of strange. You're claiming to be like, well, I'm a big dick lefty. Well, I'm a big dick conservative. Well, I'm a big dick independent. I'm nonpartisan. But by the way, I'm pro-Israel. We're all pro-Israel. And I don't like that. I really don't like that. And it just says to me that the declaration that you're this and you're that and all this, like, I'm distinct in this way, seems really disingenuous, because the thing that you seem to be is pro-Jew and pro-Israel. And a good example of this is, what's his name? Paul Gosar, I want to say. Let me get that up. God damn it. Oh yeah, Paul Gosar. So Fox News just released a hit piece an hour ago regarding GOP Representative Paul Gosar, who I believe is a congressman from Arizona, yes, who's going to be doing a fundraiser with Nick Fuentes. So Nick Fuentes is on more than one blacklist, but he is on, in particular, a right-wing blacklist that exists. So, when it comes to a blacklist, there is a way to defend such a thing in that if you're Tim Pool, you can decide who you have on your own show and who you don't. The same goes for me. If I don't like somebody and I don't want to bring them onto my channel or interview them or whatever, it's my decision because it's my time, it's my channel. To me, there is a means by which that you can gatekeep. You can gatekeep your own channel, your own community. But the issue is that we've reached the point where now people that are part of the GOP are linking arms with members of the media and with leftists, with Democrats, to actively now go after an elected official with Paul Gosar. We had it happen with Steve King, who I think I'm confusing with Stephen King. Stephen King, the representative, I think was from New York, but Steve King is from Iowa. But it happened with Steve King, the representative from Iowa, if I'm remembering correctly, that he made a whole bunch of, goofy boomer comments and got axed. He got blacklisted. It's what happened to, oh, Jesus. This is what happens. John, not Kerry, Edwards? Is it John Edwards? Yes, John Edwards. So you step in it, you get egg on your face, you do something wrong. I believe in the case of Edwards, it was indictments, and wasn't it? Yeah, he had an affair while his wife was dying of cancer. Yeah, so John Edwards is not a good guy, but he got blacklisted. That's my whole point here. Blackballed, blacklisted. You do something, and it's politically toxic. So you get blacklisted by everyone in power. That a cabal of people agree that you are a detriment to them, to the party, to whatever you're trying to, do together. You are a detriment to their power. So everyone turns their back on you. Everyone is given notice. We don't want anything to do with Steve King. We don't want anything to do with John Edwards. Turn your fucking back on this guy. And so everyone does in unison. They're ostracized, and because of that, they're politically dead. And it seems like there is an effort, and this is probably not the first time, but I'm at least talking about it now, that it's being done to Paul Gosar. Because this article on Fox News is just a hit piece. It's all it is. It's in no way fair. It's in no way fair to questioning what Paul Gosar is doing, to who Nick Fuentes is. It's not fair in the slightest. It's just saying, well, we talked to fucking Jared Holt. We talked to 2 pro-Jew organizations. And they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. Fuck him. He's everything. He's everything under the sun. Everyone is. It's Nick Fuentes. It's Paul Gosar. It's anybody. Anybody we say is all this and that, anti-Semite, white nationalist, blah, 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 blah. They're all this. They're all this. Why? They're not pro-Israel. They're not pro-Jew. That's the only thing. We talked to the ADL. We talked to this Jewish organization. It's like, what do you think they're going to say? What do you think they're going to say? They're going to say that I'm an anti-Semite for doing this commentary. This is the problem, is that these Jewish organizations and particular Jews, like you have this one guy from New York. Let me look up what this guy's name is. I just quote tweeted him because he's obviously going to try to get these people blacklisted. Dove Hickend from New York City, who was complaining last year, if I remember correctly, or maybe the year before, about Orthodox Jews being attacked in New York City. There's a lot of Jews being attacked by blacks in New York City, and this guy was speaking up about it. But, this is one of the problems, is that Jews in politics are so fucking sensitive. They're so fucking sensitive. If you're not Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, I believe it is, who is out there with Bibi Netanyahu holding a sign like a fucking pet that says just more for Israel. If you're not on that level where you're a U.S. politician and you're not out there holding a sign saying just generally just more for Israel, what does that mean? I mean, how much can we possibly give? There's no distinction. There's no limitation. It's just like the next time you're going to see me, it's going to be Louis Le Vau with a sign next to Bibi Netanyahu or whoever the prime minister is now there. And I'm just going to be holding a sign that says blank checks for Israel. More blood and treasure for Israel. It's just, these are not sensible politics. Okay? It's unbelievable that we have reached this fever pitch of where U.S. senators are just generally in favor of Israel more so than they are blank checks for Israel, but we need to be fiscally responsible for Americans. Where it is just legit Israel first fucking messaging. And it's like I say, it's beyond satire. You cannot satire this, but that is where we are. It is ridiculous. It is painfully noticeable, and it lends an incredible amount of credence to those that are going to go out there and that are going to say anti-Semitic shit, anti-Jewish shit, and whatever else. Okay? It makes it a lot easier for people to be questioning of our relationship with Israel when you have our politicians going there holding signs that directly contradict their policies in the United States. The general policy of U.S. Republicans is we need to cut the cost of this, we need to cut the cost of that, we need to be fiscally responsible here, we need to roll back on this. You're not going to find very many Republicans being we need to expand welfare, we need to expand public spending and Social Security and whatnot, expand unemployment. You're not going to find very many Republicans that are going to be making that position. But when it relates to Israel, what's our stated position? More for Israel. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Welfare benefits, their own version of Social Security, defense spending, it don't fucking matter, just more. And like I say, it begs some questions, doesn't it? It really begs some questions as it relates to priorities and what exactly your official positions are and why. Why, as a U.S. politician, you are so dogmatically representative of non-citizens of a foreign fucking nation. It's inexplicable in many ways. And it's one of the things, and by the way, if you are in some way just an American nationalist who has an affiliation with Nick Fuentes, who makes some mean jokes, or may have positions that are anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish, may hold those positions, association with him is an indictment against you, and that means that a bunch of left-wing NGOs can just auto-generate a hit piece for you on a right-wing outlet. You know, you have some association with this guy, and boom, the hit pieces are flying on right-wing outlets to blackball you, which is obviously what it is. It's in no way even fair, let alone defensive, of a GOP member, an elected member of Congress. Not even fair from a right-wing fucking outlet. Why? Well, he hit the tripwire. He's associated himself in some way with somebody who's a member of the blacklist. That is what it is. And the problem doesn't just stop there. The issue is the greater effects. It's the ripple that comes from that. Because Lauren Chen, who is in many ways a very milquetoast commentator, it's one of the main reasons that I don't really listen to a lot of her content. Lauren Chen, as far as I'm concerned, is a very milquetoast right-wing commentator. She's a Canadian, so big surprise that she's pretty milquetoast. And I'm sorry, it's not meant as an insult, but that is my position on her. She just had an interview with Paul Gozer, okay? So that means she's now connected. She's now associated in some way with a guy who's associated with somebody who's on the blacklist. Paul Gozer is now beelining, being fast-tracked to the blacklist himself and joining Steve King and the other politicians that are going to get blacklisted or are blacklisted. Well, now she's also on the same track because she has an association with somebody who has an association with somebody who's on a blacklist. And, you know, as I said on Twitter, this is untenable. This state of affairs is untenable. Because the issue itself is going to actively harm us. The left wing doesn't give a fucking shit of who they're associated with. Okay? They're out there raising money. Kamala Harris is out there raising money to bail out terrorists. I mean, they make a whole big deal about January 6th, but as far as I can tell, that's nothing more than a smokescreen for their own actions, as is the FBI, and them going after those dangerous insurrectionists, all the while as a smokescreen to their own behaviors, their own actions over the years, where their loyalties actually lie. To me, that's what a lot of this is. And to me, it's just simply something that is untenable. That if the right wing has any hope of winning in the future, we cannot be doing this any longer. Because eventually, it's going to be everybody but a handful of people that are of a certain fucking religious and racial persuasion that are going to be fucking in charge of everything, commentating on everything, because they're the only people not being fucking banned and blacklisted. Ben Shapiro doesn't seem to be having any problems with being banned anywhere. Steven Crowder, as milquetoast as people claim he is, having in just an unbelievable number of problems, aside from his own health. Getting banned off of everything, having problems everywhere. And he is not that bold of a guy in terms of his beliefs, which I think are very close to his father's, which are very close to the beliefs of Reagan, which, if you knew anything about his beliefs, not much of a nationalist. Not much of one. So if you got a guy who may be sort of like padding and inflating his nationalist disposition, this guy that claims association with Canada just as much as Michigan and all the other places he lived. I'm a Texan. Well, I'm a Michigander. Well, I'm a Canadian. Depends on the fucking day with Steven Crowder and his father. So I would say that, being how internationalist his background is, we might be able to pick up what his actual politics are. But the thing is, even he is having all of these problems with maintaining some kind of platform and just offering his entertainment and his comedy and some political commentary. It's all he's offering, and even he is struggling to stay on board. But Ben Shapiro, good old Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire crowd, I don't know if they're having the exact same issues. They don't seem to be. I don't hear a lot of complaining from that crowd to see that they're having some problems remaining platformed. Don't see it. Don't hear it. It's just a bit noticeable. Just something I've noted. Everyone under the sun is getting banned from everywhere, including Donald Trump. So everybody's getting banned from everything, but Ben Shapiro's doing just fine. And so I say on Twitter that I have some idea of who on the right wing is managing the blacklist, and I get the feeling that behind the scenes, I'm right. That a certain group of internationalists are running the blacklist. And who makes up that cabal is disproportionately of a religious and racial background. And in my view, it's because that group is disproportionately internationalist. And, what can I say? It's not even a matter of, like, friend from foe. It's like, it includes Steven Crowder, who very likely is an internationalist, and his father definitely is. They don't even have, like, the ability to tell friend from foe. It's just, okay, listen, okay, brother, how pro-Israel are you? Hold on. I don't hear enough pro-Israel rhetoric for you. You need to hold this sign. You need to hold this sign more for Israel. And if you're not willing to hold this sign, I don't know. That sounds pretty anti-Semitic to me. And you might need to go on that blacklist. Hold on. Have you associated with Paul Gosar, that associated with Nick Fuentes, who associated with this, it's just a joke. The other side is not doing this. And this is going to kill us. We cannot be doing this. It's going way too far. It is just, there is a machine for this because it is instantaneous. It's like Paul Gosar, yeah, by the way, I'm going to have an event in a few days from now and Nick Fuentes is going to be there. So please come on down. It's just like hit pieces. People bitching on Twitter. Oh man, now Paul Gosar is on that fucking blacklist. We have the left, we have the right, we have the center. Everyone that's involved is of a certain religious and racial background, and they're all saying the exact same fucking thing for obvious reasons. I'm this, I'm that. We're different. But all of a sudden, we're all the same, and we're all on the same message, and we're all unified, and we're all talking in the same direction. We're all calling for the same things. Wow. Fast and noticeable. And I wouldn't be surprised if fucking McCarthy comes out with a message about this, some kind of press statement, or fucking Ron McDaniel, or someone of the leadership of the right wing, the GOP, like somebody comes out and is like, he can't be doing this and all this other shit. Like, I'm expecting that because of the frenzy that's now taking place. Like, it's these people looping in other people of the same group, and they're all unified. No, you can't have this association. This guy's on the blacklist. This guy's blacklisted, so you can't have this affiliation. at all. And as far as I'm aware, Paul Gosar is not going to just... He probably is just going to go ahead with this event. Because it's like in fucking a day. It's like 2 days away from now. He's just going to cancel the event? I don't think so. He could, but I don't think it's going to happen. So he's going to go forward with it. And that's going to piss these people off even more. You didn't do what we wanted you to do, Paul. So now you join the blacklist. Now it's time for you to go down. Now you're on the shit list. And now it's whoever's associated with him. So yeah, I'm not out here to be the guy being like, oh man, we got to talk about the Jews. We need to talk about Israel. Like, I am indifferent. I am honestly indifferent on both subjects. I don't like Jews being beaten up in New York City, as I've talked about in the past. I don't like the cover-up that took place in the media, which skews of a certain group, and even they were covering it up because it wasn't their version of the Jews. It was the Orthodox Jews that were getting beaten in New York City. It wasn't the liberal Jews. So they were covering it up because they want the cattle on their voting farm to keep voting in that way. It's just frustrating. I really don't like this, and it's why I'm making this video calling it out, because eventually it's just going to be everybody. It's going to be every person on the right other than Jewish commentators. And it'd eventually be some of them, like Jewish commentators on the right who are simply not pro-Jew and pro-Israel enough. They'll be on the fucking blacklist. Hello, I'm not even going to make up a name or anything or do a voice, but it's going to be like, you're going to have this Orthodox Jewish commentator who's going to get blacklisted by other Jews because he's like, hey, I have a problem with all these different goyim, all these different, Christians that are getting blacklisted by Jews. And as a Jew, I got a problem with this. And that Jew gets fucking blacklisted. It's a problem, people, and I don't like it. If I'm going to disassociate from anybody, it's from people doing this. This is wrong. And it's against my own principles, because it's not even self-defeating for the right wing. Like, oh man, I'm this big dick conservative who's out there quashing all these right-wing commentators. I'm blacklisting all these right-wingers, which I claim to have association with. But it's like, it's censorious. And it's obviously censorious. And it's like, yeah, you know what's under attack in America? Free speech. By the way, we need to pass this anti-BDS legislation so that we ban any question of politics around Israel. If you are an American citizen, the only position you're allowed to have is that you are pro-Israel. You want way more for Israel. That's your position. Not just more for Israel, way more for Israel. That's the official position if you're an American citizen. Legally speaking, that's the position you're allowed to take. But we're the party of free speech. We're the party of free expression. Man, it's the left that's censorious and isn't allowing you to speak. Let me put some fucking duct tape around my mouth to show you how censored I am. Meanwhile, legally speaking, you better be in favor of way more for Israel or you're going to fucking prison. This is getting out of hand. This is just over the top. And I'm fucking sick of it. I'm legit fucking sick of this. And, like, all you're doing is, as I've already said, giving more credence to people who are anti-Semitic, who are anti-Israel, however you want to put it. Don't like Jews, whatever. You're giving them more credibility because you're actively unifying, despite supposed differences, to hound these people, censor these people, shame these people, try to get them fired, try to get them taken off of committees, try to get them taken out of Congress, try to get them taken off of platforms. You're going after these people in a deceitful and unwarranted manner. You're trying to censor them for just affiliation because they talked to somebody who said something you don't like. And you could say that, well, I don't like what Nick Fuentes said. I don't like the joke he made. I don't like the fact that he's anti-Semitic or has problems with Jews or whatever else. But the issue is that when you use NGOs whose only purpose is to go out there and shame people, slam people, slander people, and these are the same people getting sued and losing cases for defamation. When you're using them as your experts to defame people for just associations, I'm sorry, but, is this a country where free association is recognized? And the obvious answer to me is no. Like, free association in America is a joke. Because you can be a fucking communist. You can be all this. You can be a black nationalist, and the Democrats are going to fucking suck you off until you're fucking chafed. And yet, it's like any person who is just simply not pro-Israel enough is, or someone who's associated with somebody who's not pro-Israel enough, they're on their way to a fucking professional blacklist. I'm sorry, but this has gone way too fucking far. For now, though, I guess I will just leave it there. So thank you for listening.